everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Kingdom Ties, and I came to you with a message. Yes, so I came to you today with a message, and let me give you a little background. Gotta give that background. So the background is a couple days ago, I wasn't texting nobody or calling anybody all day, and so that's kind of abnormal. You know what I'm saying? So like usually, and I wasn't on social media. And so like, I was just like, I feel so alone. And one of my friends had wrote me, my best friends had wrote me. And so like, oh, there go my butt. So when I texted them back or whatnot, and they was asking my opinion on something, I just had this feeling of, oh my gosh, someone sees me. And so when I got done, you know, talking to them and stuff like that, I had started praying and stuff and started seeking God. And so while I was doing that, the Holy Spirit highlighted to me that I had started to put people's acceptance over God's acceptance and love for me. And so I was just like, dang, I'm like, God, I'm so sorry. And I had started, you know, worshiping and stuff. And then I should start asking God, like, what do you want me to do for the next video and stuff like that? Because I'm partnering with God on everything. You feel me? On dating, these videos and channels, my everyday decisions. I'm praying, you know, I'm partnering with God with everything. So I was asking God what video he want me to do. And he said, being seen by God. And so I was just like, whoa. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So there's a story in the Bible that was highlighted to me, and that's 1 Kings 19. And so in 1 Kings 19, that's when Elijah the prophet, he ran from the Queen Jezebel because, mind you, Elijah had just killed all of her prophets. And so all of her prophets were slaughtered and dead because Elijah had made a proposal that whoever God answered with fire coming down on their altar, then that's the God they was going to serve. And so all of Jezebel prophets had started to do their thing, cut themselves and all this stuff, and their God didn't answer. And so Elijah, he had put water over his sacrifice, over the wood, and he had prayed to God, and right after he prayed to God, God answered with fire coming down, and everybody dropped to the ground, and they started saying, the Lord is God, the Lord is God. And so they started to worship Elijah's God. And so Elijah did this in front of Israel, the children of Israel, and he did this in front of the prophets, the false prophets, Jezebel prophets. And so when he did that, he immediately took all the false prophets, took them to the river, and knocked them off. Like, okay, not knock, well, he did knock them off, but he killed them. Okay, he beheaded them, and every one of them. And so after Elijah did this, a message had came from Jezebel, and she said that by this time tomorrow, I'm going to do what you did to them. And so he had got a death threat. And so Elijah, when he received the death threat, he ran into the wilderness, and he was sitting underneath a tree. And when he was sitting underneath the tree, he just started, he was suicidal. He was just saying that he wanted to die, and that his life wasn't worth nothing, and that it wasn't worth more than his father's life. And so Elijah went to sleep. And so this is how much God cared about Elijah. So God had gave an angel charge over Elijah. And so when Elijah was woken up by this angel, and the angel had food and drink for Elijah, and the angel told him to eat and drink. And so Elijah did, and then he went back to sleep. And then the next day, the same angel woke Elijah up again, and he gave him more food and more drink. And so Elijah ate and drank, but the angel told Elijah to go on his way. So Elijah, he went a different way. He did not go the way that he was supposed to go. He went a different way. And so Elijah had ran to Mount Horeb. And so on Mount Horeb, it's a real high cave. I seen a video on YouTube, and it's a really big mountain. So Elijah went up on Mount Horeb, and he found a cave, and he hid in it. And so while Elijah was in there, he was just basically telling God that he was zealous for God. He was doing things for him, and that people are seeking his life, and they was trying to kill him. And so God had asked Elijah, he said, Elijah, why are you here? And so Elijah said why he was there, because people are trying to kill me, and I was doing stuff for you. And so when Elijah said that, he had went to the edge of the cave because he seen rocks falling. And when he got to the edge of the cave, the rocks had turned into an earthquake. And so when the earthquake was done, God had made a fire appear, and it covered the entrance of the cave. And then after the fire, God had removed the fire, and he had sent a gush of wind, right? And so Elijah, during all of these elements, Elijah was trying to find God in the midst of them. And so, but he didn't. At the end, after the gust of wind, God whispered to Elijah, and he said, Elijah, why are you here? And so Elijah once again told him that people are seeking my life because I was doing things for you, and that I want to die, basically. And so this whole message is just this: God sees you in your cave. God knows what they did. God knows, and he sees. Okay. And so the thing that was highlighted to me in Elijah's story was that God had just performed a miracle for Elijah. I mean, a miracle that shocked the children of Israel, that shocked the prophets of Baal, and I forgot the other god that they were serving, but Jezebel prophets. And the God of Israel shocked all of them, and he performed that miracle for Elijah. But when Elijah got in the cave, and the earthquake, the fire, and the wind came, he didn't see God in none of them. Even though God just performed a miracle, God came this time in a whisper. And this lesson applies today. Like, what are we looking for? What sign, what miracle and wonder are we looking for from God, if he already has given us one? Like, are we missing God? Basically, are we saying that God isn't real because this isn't happening and this isn't happening? Or we're missing the signs that he's given us that he is real and that he is listening? Whoa, that's good. Jesus, that's good. And so it's just like, how are we missing God? You know what I'm saying? We're looking for a big sign. We're looking for a big miracle. We're looking for an earthquake, the wind, or a fire to say that God is real. But what if God has already shown you that he's real, but you're just being so focused on it has to be this? What if God is talking to you through a whisper? What if God is sending people to you and telling you things? What if God is making things work together for your good and making things flow together amazingly, but you just thinking it's yourself, it's the universe? No. What if we're missing God's voice by looking for a miracle and a sign and a wonder? What if God is talking to us in our hearts, or through another person, and that could be through a kind word or a prophetic word? What if we're missing him through just trying to see these big signs and miracles? What if God is coming to you in a simple form? I mean, a lot of people my age right now and younger than me, they saying God isn't real. If God was real, this would be happening. If God was real, this would be happening. And what if God is giving you signs that he is real, but you're so focused on it has to be this, that you're missing everything else that he's giving you? Because God had just did a miracle in Elijah's life for the children of Israel and for the false prophets. But when he got afraid and he ran and he went to Mount Horeb, and God has sent an earthquake, a fire, and a wind, and Elijah was looking for God in all of those, but he didn't see him. And God didn't come through. He sent the earthquake, the fire, and the wind, but he didn't speak to Elijah through those things. He spoke to Elijah through a whisper. What if you're missing God because you're focused on what he did the last time? God doesn't perform the same miracle twice. He don't do that. If you look in the Bible, he don't do that. He performed miracles. God, one thing about God, he's very creative. Very creative. And so, what if you're just missing him by looking for what he did last time? What if you're missing him by being focused on it has to be like this, this, or this? What if you're missing him? What if you're missing him because you're looking for a miracle when really he's coming in a simple form? What if you're missing him and maybe you're looking for a simple form of God talking to you, and maybe he's coming through in a miracle? But we have to be in tune with God, and we have to know God's character to be able to discern what is he doing in this season. And so some people are saying God isn't real because of this, God isn't real because of that. But that's the thing, you don't know God's character. If you know someone's character, you know how they communicate. Boy, this is good. Holy Spirit, where is this coming from? What? Oh my God. Dang, this is good, bro. Jesus, this is so good. Like, if you know God's character, then you will be able to discern how he's talking to you. You will be able to discern how he moves, because in somebody's character, that means that that's their mind, their personality, the way they talk, the way they act. And so if you're saying God isn't real because of certain things not happening in your life, then you don't know him. And I'm not being mean or rude. I'm just calling facts. If you know somebody's character, then you know how they rocking, you know how they talk, you know how they act, and you don't have to question it. But if you're questioning God's character, if you're questioning and saying that he's not real because he's not doing this for you or not doing that for you, then you don't know God's character. But this is how I suggest you get to know God's character. And that's by reading his word. Reading stories about him delivering people. Read stories about him communicating through people and to people. Read the book of Psalms. And he shows how David relied on God and how God was being good to him when his enemies were surrounding him. God sees you. But do you see him? That's what happened for Elijah. God saw Elijah. God asked Elijah, why are you here? And God performed miracles and everything for Elijah. But when it was time for Elijah to see God, he couldn't find him in the earthquake. He couldn't find him in the fire. And he couldn't find him in the wind. But he did find him in the whisper. And that was because Elijah was looking for the miracle. He was looking for the big miraculous thing for God to speak to him through. But God spoke to him through a whisper. And I leave and I close this video with some scriptures in Psalms 139 and Romans 8:31 through 38. I hope this video bless you. I hope I ain't gonna lie to you. Holy Spirit just rocked this, because bro, like I practice what I say before I come on here, but bro, like Holy Spirit just like I'm really like Holy Spirit just and I was just like while I was sitting here talking, I was just like, oh my gosh, like yeah. Bro, Like Holy Spirit, he rocked this. Like, I ain't gonna hold it. Like, Holy Spirit, this was good. Like, this got me. This got me, dog. Like, dang. But yeah. Alright, y'all have a great night, great day, evening, whatever. Please subscribe and like, tag your friends, tag your mom, tag your dad, whoever. It's all about Kingdom Ties because we are forever locked in. Alright.